With 23 candidates now in the race for the Democratic nomination for president, one of the most recognized names is former Vice President Joe Biden. At a rally in Philadelphia today, he promised not to speak ill of other Democrats in the contest, making clear he will focus his political fire on President Trump.
The single most important thing we have to accomplish is defeat Donald Trump.
Listing priorities from infrastructure to climate change policy, Biden still came back to the president.
As long as Donald Trump's in the White House, none of these things, these critical things, are going to get done. So if you want to know what the first and most important plank in my climate proposal is, beat Trump. Beat Trump. Beat Trump.
NewsHour's digital politics editor and senior writer Daniel Bush is covering the rally and speech today, and he joins us now via Skype from Philadelphia. What's the tone that he's trying to set of the first rally of many that we're likely to see from him?
So the Biden campaign really tried to use this kickoff to follow up on some of the themes that the former vice president has already hit on since announcing his presidential campaign a couple of weeks ago. Unity, a sense of restoring integrity to the country. He said that our politics have become so mean, so petty, the divider in chief. So he was trying to drive the message home that he would bring back a more civil tone to politics, to working across the aisle with Republicans on Capitol Hill to get things done if elected president.
And what about the policy prescriptions? What about the things that he might do that would be perhaps different from Barack Obama?
So I touched on a broad number of issues from healthcare to the economy to climate change, talked about boosting renewable energy, talked about free community college tuition. But he didn't have any policy specifics. He didn't offer how he would pay for some of these initiatives, unlike some of his other candidates in the race who have put out already several different pretty specific policy proposals. And I asked Democrats after the speech whether or not they were concerned that Biden wasn't getting specific enough. Senator Tom Carper of Delaware and an early backer of Biden's said there's about 500 days to flesh it out, meaning, listen, you should slow down a little bit. Vice President Biden still has a lot of time to sort of figure it out. And Hari, I also spoke to Simone Sanders, a senior advisor on the Biden campaign, and she said, we just got into this race, but you can expect to see policy very soon. Sanders pointed to the upcoming Democratic debates, which kick off next month in Florida. And she said that we know you can't get on the debate stage with platitude and broad brushstrokes. So the Biden campaign seems to be signaling that they're going to get down into the weeds on some of these policy issues pretty soon.
And what about the fact that, relatively speaking, there are already so many candidates that have made their policies clear on a wide range of things, and they're all now trying to compete for attention? He has certainly name brand recognition, but it is still a long way to go.
Well, Hari, this very much looked like a general election rally with a sweeping backdrop of the city of Philadelphia in the background. And Biden did not mention a single one of his primary candidates by name, not once. So he is really running with a focus on the president and trying to cement his frontrunner status. And we see to a certain extent that it is working. Before he entered the race, he was leading in polls, a little bit ahead of Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. In the last couple of weeks, that lead has jumped out to, in some cases, 10, even 20 points. Biden is now polling in the high 40s at times. Now, of course, we have to take those polls with a grain of salt, given that voters aren't going to go to the polls for another 6, 7, 8 months, the beginning of next year. But still, it does show that his approach of focusing on the president, at least right now, is paying off.
All right, NewsHour's Daniel Bush joining us via Skype from Philadelphia tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you.